All right. So yesterday we did like how to form and break vectors, right? So today we'll do one question and then that will actually let us basically help a lot in understanding what we actually are trying to achieve here. Okay. So let's do that. So first of all, I would like to tell you let's suppose there is a point. On that point, there are multiple vectors. One vector is like this, completely horizontal. One vector is like this, completely vertical. One vector like this, which is at 60 degrees. And one vector which is like this, and that's from the horizontal, it is 28 degrees. Now this one is A, 15 value, B is 10, C is 25, and D is 50, like that. Now because there's so many vectors, and two of them like A and D are at angles, so we gotta break them. Now how do we do this? So first of all, I would like to tell you that the step one is always that you define directions. Now this is the most important thing in vectors, because if you say, alright, that everything, a vector that is up, I'll take it as positive. A vector that is down, then there will be negative. A vector that is on the right is positive. Vector on the left is negative. Now, it's not necessary that you always follow what I'm doing. Like, you could also take right as negative, but then the left must be positive. So the thing is, you can use your own direction, but it should be consistent throughout the whole process. All right, is it clear, everybody? Now,
Yes.
one by one, we are going to basically break them into horizontals and verticals. So I'm going to make a nice table here. You can actually follow along and you can see what I'm really doing. So for the first one, that is A, I know that if I break this, one component of this is going to be like this, and the other component would be like this. We learned it yesterday how we can actually do this, right? Now, for A, the horizontal component, which is next to the angle, would be 15 cos of 60, and because it is towards the right, I'm going to write positive with it. Is it clear? Because I myself defined that everything that is on the right should be positive, right? For the vertical one, I'm going to write 15 sine of 60 because it is away from the angle, but it is like upwards, which is positive, which means I will put a positive sign here as well. Any questions, please, up till now?
No, sir.
Now let's look at B. So for B is only horizontal. So it means I'm going to write 10 here, and because it is towards the right, I'm going to write positive. If B is completely horizontal, then you cannot say it has a vertical component, which means that the vertical of B will be 0. Now, at any point, if you have a question or anything you do not understand, please stop me and let me know. Now talking about C then. If you look at C is completely vertical, so it does not have any horizontal component. But because it is completely vertical and downward, so I'm going to write 25 underneath vertical, and I'll put a negative sign. Why? Because everything down I've taken as negative. Now, okay, I should have extended this a bit. Right. Now going for D. Now if you look at D will have two components, one like this and the other one like this, right? So the horizontal for D will be 50 cos of 28 because it's next to the angle, but because it is towards the left, I'm going to put a negative sign. Now comes vertical, so I'm going to write 50 sine of 28, and because it is towards like downwards, so I'm going to write minus because I took negative in down and left. If you have any questions now, please ask. So what I've done up till now is that I've broken down all the components, basically all of them, into their verticals and horizontals, because I want to add them together, right? I cannot add vectors just like adding scalars. I have to break them down. Now, what then I'm going to do is, when I have all of this, I'm going to sum them. So this is the horizontal side, right? So if I add all of them, so the answer I'm going to get is minus 26.64 on this side, and on that side it will be minus 35.5. Everybody understands this? Now what I have right now is basically the resultant of all the vectors horizontal and all the vector vertical. Now because they have minus sign, so the horizontal means, just a second. Okay, so the horizontal means that the vector, the resultant horizontal vector is towards the left. How do I know this? Because I have a minus sign, and the value for this is 26.64. Then the other vector is downwards, the vertical one. How do I know this? Because it has a minus sign and I took minus in, at the bottom. So this is basically 35.5. This means that the resultant of all these vectors should be somewhere in the middle like this. So let's suppose we want to find the angle and we want to find this resultant right here. Now everything becomes very simple because we use the same rule. We use the Pythagoras theorem. We use 26.64 whole square plus 35.5 whole square, and we take under root. So once you do that, the answer should be, resultant should be 44, and that's how we found the resultant. Now the same rule that we have been doing last class. Now we just need to find the angle, and to find the angle we need to use tan theta, because angle is next to this one, so it means the opposite on top, adjacent on bottom, and when you take tan of inverse of this whole thing, so you should be getting 53 degrees. Everybody understands this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me check who's here, who's not. Burhan, Javeria, Khatija, Umar, Safir. Okay. Now we are going to do one question, okay, that came in the exam actually, and let's see if you guys can do it. Okay, so this question, so they have shown three different vectors. All of them are 10 newtons. And these two are at 30 degrees from the vertical. Right? So what they want is find the value of resultant vector. Okay. Can you please do it?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, if you don't mind, could you recap what you did in the last 5 minutes? I joined late because of the math class.
Okay. Basically what we did was we had this system, the red ones, okay? So the first step I took was that I basically created a set of directions. Like I said, okay, if any vector is towards the right, I will take it as positive. Now that's my own discretion. You can actually take it as whatever you like, okay? But if I take right as positive, then I have to take left as negative. Do you understand? Similarly,
Yes, sir.
I said, okay, I'm gonna take up as positive. So then I have to take down as negative. So first I defined the directions. Then A was at 60 degrees. So I broke it into two components, horizontal and vertical. And then I wrote A's horizontal to be 15 cos 60. If you look at the diagram, you see that A's horizontal component is towards the positive side, so I put a positive sign on the value. Do you understand?
Sir, could you repeat that one more time?
Like you see this vector right here is towards the right side. That's the component of A, right? Horizontal. So I wrote the value 15 cos 60 and then I wrote positive sign because everything on the right I took as positive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, upwards, I took it as the vertical component was 15 sine 60, and because it was upwards and I had taken upward as positive, so I put a positive sign right here. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then I said, okay, for B is completely horizontal, so it is towards the right, so I put positive 10 on the horizontal, but it does not have a vertical component, so I put 0 there, right? Then what I did was, for C was completely vertical, so it does not have a horizontal component, so I put 0 there. But I put negative 25 on the vertical. Why? Because it is downwards, and I've taken downwards as negative. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then for D, again I broke it into components because that was at an angle. So the horizontal one was 50 cos 28, but because it was towards the left, I put minus 50 cos of 28. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Then if you look at its vertical component, it is downwards. So I wrote 50 sine of 28, and then negative because I took down as negative, right? Then I added all the horizontals together, all the verticals together. So I got minus 26.64 as the result of all the horizontals, and as the result of verticals, I got minus 35.5. I redrew the drawing just for your understanding, it's not necessary. And then I found the resultant using the Pythagoras theorem, and then theta from the horizontal from tan theta. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
The last two steps are basically what we did yesterday. Now I want you guys to solve this, please. Yes, but any answers, please?
I got 8.4 vector and angle 11.0.
11.0. Okay, that's not correct. All right. Let me help you with this. So first of all, let's do it the other way, right? Let's suppose if somebody amongst you thinks, okay, I'm not going to do what Sir Awais has done. I'm gonna take this side as negative, this side then positive, this side is negative, and this side is positive. Exact opposite of what I did. It won't really matter what you do, because then if you say I'm gonna find the horizontal and vertical components of these vectors, let's name them A, B, C. So for A, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make two components. Okay, let me choose a lighter color. So one component will be like this, the other component would be like this, right? So for A, the horizontal one will be 10 sine of 30, and because we took negative here, so we will put negative, and for vertical we're going to write 10 cos of 30, and then we're going to put a negative because on top we took a negative, right? It doesn't really matter what you take. Then for B is just vertical and down, so I'm gonna write 0 on horizontal and positive 10 here because I took positive down. Now for C, then I have to make components again. So let me change the color for differentiation actually. So for C, one component is like this, the other component is like this. So this means that the horizontal one will be 10 sine of 30, but because it is towards the left and I took left as positive, so I'll write positive here. And then for the vertical, I'm gonna write 10 cos 30 and with a negative sign because you see it's there. Now if you add all of this, right, so now you sum all of this will become 0 and this will be minus 7.3. Is it clear? Now whether you apply this or not, it doesn't matter because 0 square plus minus 7.3 whole square under root would still give you 7.3 because there is only one vector left, right? So this should be your answer, upwards. Why? Because this is the sum of both horizontal and vertical, and then we took it. Do you guys understand now? So Khatija, where did you make the mistake? Khatija. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
So all of you could do this, or did make a mistake? Okay. Now, so Now I'm gonna give you a worksheet for this, right? Because this is the end of this, right? So I'm gonna send you a worksheet. You guys gotta do it. Wait, please.